Hey guys, I should probably come up with a new intro as opposed to just saying hey guys. But, anyways, I had so much fun doing the Scooby-Doo Monsters Tour list, which, by the way, as of April 29th, 2023, it has officially reached 140 views. The highest view on my video on my channel so far, and it's almost twice as has almost twice as much views as my second highest video, Pokemon Infinite Fusion episode 1, the first video I did, which is at, I want to say 75 views, last time I checked. But, I'm a massive fan of Fairy Tail. Fairy Tail is my second favorite anime and TV show right after Record of Ragnarok. So I thought it would be fun to rank these islands. See, now I got peak. See, as opposed to just doing tiers like S, A, B, C, I choose to give them names like this to differentiate them more. So that way you kind of know why they're in that tier. As opposed to just saying, oh, I'm putting them in D tier. Like, but why are you putting them in D tier? Like, why? So I got Peak Fiction, which is the best of the best. Very Good, which is, it's fun, rewatchable. It's not as good as Peak Fiction, like, we'll probably get more onto that, but it's alright. It's like, it's good. Not as good as this. And then I have Mid, which is just like, one and done type arc. Because I've seen Fairy Tail 6 times. It is very fun. I recommend it, and don't listen to the haters that say it sucks. Just go in just expecting a fun time. Don't expect some complex, convoluted plot like Code Geass, Death Note, One Piece. Well, One Piece is not convoluted, but don't expect to be like One Piece. It's the wrong one. But One Piece, well, Fairy Tail is not a ripoff of One Piece, because honestly, I don't really see why people think that. I mean, sure, some of the character designs kind of look similar, like, but plenty of characters look similar. Like, Angel and Doflamingo, they're like, oh, they look similar, they both wear feathers. I'm like, but Solano wants to be an angel, so she wears feathers. Because that's what angels have. And well, like, people like, oh, well, Racer is a ripoff of Frankie, just because they have, like, the hairstyle. Which is funny, because Frankie is inspired based off of Jim Carrey, so Frankie's design isn't entirely original. So, anyways, aside from my little rant, let's begin, shall we? Now, I'm just gonna go picking them random. I'll probably pick what... This is mainly gonna go based off the manga, because I got, like, manga only. Well, not manga, but anime only. Arcs, like, Key of the Story Stack. I'll put on the screen what, chapters or episode they go from. Alright, first we'll start with... We'll start with the Daphne arc. Now, I haven't seen Fairy Tail in, like, a few months, so... But, I should be going off good memory. Yeah, so Daphne arc. Now, in the anime, it was originally supposed to end. This is a filler arc that they Eclipse Celestial Spirit and Key of the Starry Sky are the 3 filler arcs. Which means that they're technically non-canon, and they only appear in the anime. Hence the filler. Now, Daphne, the anime was supposed to end after Daphne Arc. That's why every reference to Gyarados was omitted from the beginning, because he was never supposed to be introduced, they were supposed to end it. But then, I guess they ended up deciding to continue it. But Daphne Arc is, I'm gonna say it's mid. I mean, it's just like, why? I mean, there's nothing like really memorable about that. Nothing really happened except for robotic dragons. Oh, and there's, of course, with these two lists, there will be spoilers, so fair warning going into this. So, yeah, there's not much to say about this arc. This arc wasn't that long. And after that, I think we should probably start trying to go in order of the arcs if I remember them. But yeah, Daphne arc, not really much happened. Just Gray pretended to betray the guild because Natsu and his, well, being Natsu, he completely forgot about the promise he made to some village that was cursed to remain invisible because Daphne attacked them with dragons because one day when she was a girl she saw Igneo flying and no one believed her because dragon was supposed to be extinct except for of course I want to say the dozen dragons that exist, yeah, because there was Metallicana, Gardio's dragon, Windy's dragon, Logia, which was Sting's dragon, Skidravia, which was Rogue's dragon, oh yeah, and Grandino's Windy's dragon, so that would be and then Igneo Natsu's dragon, Acnologia, and then Irene Basilion. So yeah, about only a dozen dragons made to the 400 years in the future. Well, 5 use the, technically if you want to count Sonia, but she was always inside of a human body. She was never actually a dragon like the other 7. Yeah, and Loxus and Cobra never had dragons. So yeah, so those were the only 7 dragons that were still alive. So yeah, so this arc, mid, nothing really happens. Next up, Macaw. Well, I can't remember how you pronounce that. Macaw, I think we'll just say that. Oh yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, I was thinking about doing a 5th tier, but there wasn't really anything else, and there was only 21 arcs, so I chose to just do 4. A lot of them are gonna be going in, well, probably these 2. But, now, Macaw is aka the introduction arc. It's the first arc that introduces, well, most of the key players of Fairy Tail, except for the Thunder Legion and Gyarados and Mystigan primarily. But it introduces you to the world of Earthland, which is what the Fairy Tail universe is called. We'll call it Earth Prime, basically. Well, Earthland. Well, the main Fairy Tail lives. And introduces Natsu, Lucy, Happy. Basically, it's the introduction. Now, I won't say it's exactly peak fiction, but because it introduces all the characters, it will be, I will say it's peak fiction because it's the introduction arc. It introduces you to every character. So yeah, so I will say that because, yeah, I mean, it introduces you to everyone. Without that arc, well, you wouldn't really have anything. Next up, we'll do, I want to say Daybreak was next. Oh yeah, except for Oza, it doesn't introduce you to Oza yet either. But yeah, it does introduce you to Gray, Natsu, my personal favorite, Milljane, Lucy, Happy, Elfman, Makarov. So we will put up with Peak Fiction, just because it introduces you to every character. Daybreak was, you were introduced to Volgo and Lucy's first job, and I did like the Daybreak, but we'll put in, it's alright. It mainly introduces you to Volgo, and the book was nice. How it was a message when the author he was held prisoner for years to write Duke Evolu's autobiography, doing a little L quotes though. But the author, who's a wizard, cast a spell on the book and rearranged the letters. So when the book ended the autobiography, so when the spell was broken, when the client tried to burn the book, who was actually the son of the author, the book ended up glowing and rearranging the words to spell out the father's final message to the son. Next up, we'll do I think Lullaby was next. Yeah, because I introduced Oza. Now this one, this doesn't really do anything. This just primarily introduced Oza, Lullaby, and it mentioned the Black Wizard Zelef. So, what should it be in? We'll put this in, it's alright. Just because, well, I wouldn't really want to, rewatch the Ark. The Ark's like, it's alright, that kind of thing. Sound like, ooh, this Ark is so good. I loved it. I want to watch it again. It was fine. I mean, the villains they fought weren't, the Dark Guild of Elgo and Kageyama. The villains were kinda lame. I mean, even the Lullaby Flute, I mean, that monster got whacked easily. There wasn't really a challenge, it was just a race against time. Next up, we have the Phantom Lord Arc, the Lucy Rescue Arc that introduced Gargia and Juvia and really showed the bonds of the guild. So we're gonna put this in very good, because it showed you the bonds of the guild and introduced you to Gargio and Juvia, two of Fairy Tail's heavy hitters, who were originally enemies, and those two went from being enemies to allies to being some of Fairy Tail's greatest wizards and best weapons against the enemies. They're like the trump cards, basically. Yeah, and for like which is funny because Phantom Lord Arc was just because Hiro Marsham was not really much of a planner per se. He plans out some stuff, but like this arc, he only did this. He wanted to do a guild versus guild arc, because even though that's kind of what Lullaby was, there wasn't really any. It was just 5 wizards against an entire guild. So he chose to do Phantom Lord while he was fetching his memories, and we got ourselves 2 of the best characters. But then, now that I'm thinking about it, I think we may upgrade this to Peak Fiction. Because, again, with all these tier lists, this will be my personal opinion, so don't get all mad in the comments or whatever. And this is just for fun, because this is just, plus I'm also promoting one of my favorite animes, Fairy Tail. Next up, we have the Loki arc. Now, I'm not gonna lie, near the end, I cried. We'll pin this in very good, because I've seen this show like 6 times, and I always cry when Loki's about to die. So sad. But thankfully, the GOAT, Lucy Ophelia, managed to do another Wizard Dead, summon the freaking Wizard King. Well, not the Wizard King, the Celestial Spirit King, and all of those Celestial Spirits, by insulting the Wizard, I don't know why, I keep calling the Wizard King someone, because he's the Celestial Spirit King and those magic wizards, so yeah. The Celestial Spirit King, by insulting him, and saying his judgment was wrong, because Loki and Ares will, to the spirits, will contract to Kel and Lilica, who was very mean and treated her spirits as puppets instead of decent human beings, like Lucy does. So, since he was strong and he was able to transfer, he had enough magic power to transfer between the spirit realm and Earthland, and he's willpower strong enough, so Kellen Cole forcefully closed his gate, and he said that, I'm gonna be staying here until you treat us right and apologize. But her pride got the best of her. She didn't do it. She went on a mission and was killed by Angel of the Russian Face. But, so because he was technically responsible for her death, the Spirit King ruled that he couldn't come back. Basically, he was exiled. And after 3 years, his magic ran out. So he was prepared to die, but Lucy didn't let him, because she knew that she learned that he was only doing it to protect his friend. So he overruled the judgment, and Loki and the Spirit King made him work for Lucy Ophelia, and he became like our best spirit. Now that I am back, Galuna Island actually went first. Before that, we'll do Galuna Island. Now Galuna Island. Now, this did give the Graves back to introduce Deliola, another one of Zelos' books. And it did introduce to Leon. Did I always say Leon? No, I don't know. So, basically in this, I'll try to explain kind of quick summary. This arc, Happy, under the orders of Natsu, steals an S-Class quest, which he did not have permission to go on, because only Gyarados, Mystigan, Urza, Milljane, and Roxas have the authority to do, because they're all S-Class wizards. He wasn't allowed to do that, because they weren't allowed on the second floor, where the S-Class was. And the thing was, Coast Island Galuna. So, they went, and they tricked Lucy into going with them, and Grace was sent to bring them back, but they ended up knocking him out and bringing him with them. And why will there we learn of Grace Pass and Leon and and that Deliola was a demon that killed Grace's entire village because he was going on a rampage. But Leon and were doing, they just went to the town to look for survivors. And they found Gray, so took Gray under her wing. and taught him to use ice maker magic, and she died using ice shell, which was a spell that encased the demon in ice using her soul. So she ended up dying to freeze the demon. And I'm gonna put this in it's alright just because, well, Deliora didn't do anything. Once Leon melted the ice, he was already dead because Ull spent the last 10 years chipping away at his soul, basically, killing the demon. And, yeah, the fights were, they were, well, alright. Nothing like too interesting. Next, we'll do the Tower of Heaven arc. Now, this arc, it introduced, personally, one of my top 4 favorite Fairy Tail characters, Miliana. Because, well, I like the cat girls. And, which, thankfully, Mashima chose to make Miliana, Simon, and Wally, and show good, because they were originally supposed to be bad guys, but once he was writing the backstory, he ended up changing them, introducing Trinity Raven. And plus, we learned about Jalal, which, I like Jalal. And he put up one heck of a fight. His plan was brilliant. He infiltrated the Magic Council with the sole purpose of getting them to fire an Ethereon, which is like the magic version of a nuke, onto a tower that he spent like a decade building. Because basically, long story short, a cult worshipping, well again, Zeloth, kidnap children because I guess they're easier to control, and force them to resurrect this, the Zeloth using the R system, they called it. In Jalal, during a failed prison escape, he was captured and tortured and became corrupted due to the influence of Ultil. So, he ended up becoming psychotic and forcing Urza to leave and saying that if she ever came back, he would kill Cho and the others. And he was very, very close to killing Urza. I mean, like, if Natsu wasn't there, Urza would be dead. And if Jalal hadn't come to his senses and swapped his life for her, she would be dead. So we're gonna put this in very good. Because, darn, that was a good arc. Let's see, what arc should we do next? The Battle of Fairy Tail arc. Now, basically, Roxas, on his missions, his jobs, he is getting tired of people making a mockery of Fairy Tail because he thinks that they're going soft, basically. He wants to bring it back to being the greatest, most field guild in Fairy Tail. Well, not field as in a battery, but like, field. So, he ends up doing a beauty contest that Fairy Tail is hosting. Evergreen, who can turn people to stone, turned 8 of the girls to stone, and said that the only way to win would to unstone them, unpetrify them, is to find and defeat him. But thanks to Freed, Justine, who's got Leto magic? I think he had Leto. No, he did have Leto magic. He had rune magic type stuff. I don't remember the exact name. But basically, he could write spells, and he placed traps all over the city of Magnolia. And they forced the people who were trapped inside the barriers to fight. So everyone started going against each other. And Markov couldn't join the fight because the spell also prohibited stone statues and anyone of the age of 80 to leave the guild hall. So that left Markov, Gagio, and Natsu out of the battle. Because I guess because they had a dragon inside them, they were from 400 years in the past, unknowingly. They didn't know they had time travel because they were only kids. They had, I guess, they were technically over the age of 80, so they couldn't go. But thankfully, thanks to Oza's glass eye, it weakened the magic. So she was freed and she was propelled to go. So we'll put this in... we'll put this in very good. Because the battles were good and the way they had to force the fight, and it gave great character development to Juvia and Gagio. That officially made them like members of Fairy Tail, because they were still distrusted of what they did doing as Phantom members. And the fight with Roxas was pretty epic. The only reason, and that fight ended in a draw technically, because Gagio took the Howbell that was gonna kill Natsu, and absorbed it. Natsu was able to get in the hit, and plus, Roxas couldn't do Fairy Law, which is a spell that any enemy of the wielder basically becomes scared to death or dies, basically. But his mind said enemy, but his heart read the spell and said they were friends. So his mind said one thing, his heart said the other. And Roxas was ended up exiled from Fairy Tail for what he did. But the Thunder Legion was not. Which was a good thing, because the Thunder Legion was really important though in this arc. And you know what? We'll do the Wachion States next, because I think it goes Wachion States, Edelus, Tenwell Island, year 791, then the Grand Magic, then Key of the Star Sky, then Grand Magic, then Eclipse, then the Sun Village, then Tartarus, then Avatar, then Zero. No, it goes, Tartarus, Zero, Avatar, then Avalanche. I do have 100-year quest on it because that's still going on, and that was not an anime. We're doing a watch on this, yeah. Now this introduced another heavy hitter, the 13-year-old Wendy Marvel and her cat Carla, and it brought back Javar and introduced the Wachion Seis. Like some of my favorite characters. Now I wish that Mashima have given, I suppose it's just the one criticism I do have Fairy Tail is that even though Team Natsu are the main characters, like Oza, Gray, Wendy, Lucy, Natsu, I would like to see him give more, I want to say, spotlight to the other characters. It's like, these guys have some serious untapped potential. I mean, even during the, we'll get more into this, but even during the Alvarez, Irene Bosiron said that she was that she was worried about the crime social, which is what Oaxian Sace becomes. But we'll get more into that later. So Oaxian Sace introduced Wendy, brought back Jalal, had Wendy revive Jalal because she's a Sky Dragon Slayer. Introduced Kala, introduced the Oaxian Sace, who kind of biased some of my favorite characters, especially Swan, Angel. So the fights were pretty good, and Oaxian Sace, I mean, there were 6 of them, and they had the coalition. They had, I want to say, 2 members from Kate Shelter, Wendy and Kala, 3 members from Lamia Scale, Leon, Sheria, Jura, 4 members from Blue Pegasus, Ren, Hibiki, Eve, Ichiya, and they had Natsu, Gray, Happy, Lucy, and Oza, so those 5 members. So those 20 of them, there was about 20 of them, and 6 of Oaxian Sace, and now those 10 Wizard Saints, which are the 10, which are considered to be the 10 most powerfulest wizards in Fiore, the continent. Oh, the Kingdom Fiore. I think it's a country or continent. It's a kingdom. They call it a kingdom. But, yeah, the Magic Council recognizes those 10. And Oza is an X-Class wizard, one of the most skilled wizards in Fiore. They managed to nearly kill them. Wait, no, Joy wasn't even there, so yeah. Because Sawano had used Gemini to take out Ichiya. I just want that, said they took out 18. Ichiya wasn't, oh yeah, but still, Sawano managed to have Gemini turn to Ichiya, who used perfume magic, use the clone to take out Jura using paralysis type stuff, and nearly killed the Fairy Tail Wizard. They were like the first ones to actually do that, like obliterate them. We'll put this in Peak Fiction. Man, a lot more arcs on Peak Fiction than I thought that was gonna be. But I think as of right now, the only arc that's really gonna be mid is this. Next up is Atlas. Now this brought in more into the X-Seed, which is what happened in Color War. Introduced Panther and brought more backstory into Mist again. So Atlas. Oh yeah, little interruption now. Basically, there's this evil wizard king, power hungry for magic, because in Atlas, another world, there is no actual magic, because magic in Earthland is inside the body, but this magic, they put them to weapons. And the Power King wants more, so he created these animas, which are like magic portals type stuff, to absorb magic, which is in the air, is everywhere. He took the entire town of Magnolia, but it didn't take the Dragon Slayers or the X-Seeds. And it didn't take Lucy because of Holologium, who can prevent that. He popped up and saved her. Now again, this arc, so they do free. Oh yeah, so Gajo, Wendy, so first, Natsu, Wendy, Call, and Happy go though. But when they get there, they don't have magic. So they're kind of screwed. But then Lucy shows up and she does have magic because of the X-Balls that Mystigan gave her. So, yeah, so she joins. Then they find, well, first, Natsu and Wendy find that, yeah, that's right, they found the Fairy Tale Edalus Guild. And again, this arc suffers from the Team Natsu, because, I mean, what makes the franchise so good is sometimes it's the side characters. Like, people like this, I mean, you introduce these cool characters that you barely hear a thing from them then anymore. They're just, like, there. There's, you know, like, Sting, Rogue, the Lashion Say, or the Crime Social. I want to see more of these characters, get more moments, more scenes with them. Like, right now in the 100-year quest, Gerard's the only Crime Social that has made an appearance. I wanted to see Melody in the, Alex, Sawyer, Solano. You know, they haven't even mentioned, I don't even remember if Gerard mentioned where they were or not. But you know, because Gagio freed he found there was a giant crystal in the center of this town that the king was showing off, and Gagio came and smacked it, and of course, guess who he found? Ozungwe. Could have been Kana, which I personally love, or Milljane. It was, I mean, sure, Ozungwe was badass practically, but again, I wanted to see more of the other good. I mean, it did reintroduce Lajana, who I love, but other than that, Panther Lily, but other than that, it was, I mean, the Rock City Boys is my favorite opening, and it's not it's not on the same level of Daphne Rock, definitely not. Daphne Rock's like, kind of, not worth the Velma, but, yeah, like, for me, Primordial, we were seriously considering making another tier just to put her on. But yeah, we're gonna put this on. It's alright. Just that it suffers from, we'll call it main character syndrome. Well, it just has, like, you have the perfect opportunity to bring in more side characters. Like, you know, Connor, Levy, you know, whatever on that crystal, but no, you chose to do Gray and Oz. I mean, sure, I mean, but they already have the moments that, like, give side characters the opportunity to take over the spotlight. Like, apparently, like, I only watched, like, 20 episodes. I know some people who watched that, and yeah, apparently, there's a lot of the side characters all have, like, of course, there's the 10 Straw Hats, they're the main characters, the main squad, but they should apparently should shine spotlights on the other characters, like Law and whatever, and Shanks or whatever. But yeah, like, Fairy Tail suffers from main character syndrome. I mean, you got all these great characters that you really underutilize. Next up is Tenwa Island. This arc is personally my favorite arc in this show, possibly of all time. Because I do like Ragnarok. The arcs, I will probably place this over those. I mean, this introduces now this arc does that. It shines spotlights on the other characters. So basically, once a year, Makarov, the guild leader, hosts this tournament on this island on Tenwa Island to decide the next S-Class wizard. And he chooses 8 wizards, and those 8 choose a partner to assist them in doing that. Natsu chooses Happy. Mest, who's a mysterious character, who debuts in this arc, chooses Wendy. Gray chooses Leo because a year prior, prior to becoming a Celestial Spirit, he had made a deal with Gray that if either one's choosing, they'll choose them. So if Loki was choosing, he would choose Gray. Gray was choosing, he would choose Loki. Or Leo. And then Freed went with Bixler. Elfman chose Evergreen. Connor chose Lucy. Yeah, there was Natsu, Met, Gray. I think those were the 16. And then, of course, Gildos, Miljane, and Oza. Oh no, Juvia chose Lasagna. Those were like I forgot about those. But yeah, and then, wait. Yeah. Oh yeah, my bad, I've got another. Levi chose Gagio. And so, yeah, Natsu chose Happy. So, Markov, along with Miljane, Gildos, and Oza were in charge of it. Because there was a rule that you couldn't choose an S-Class Wizard because they would be part of the... He didn't mention, but part of the challenge. So those flew into the island ahead of time. So the 16 of them go to the island. And Kala has this premonition of disaster, so her and Panther Lily go to scout out the island because, well, they're flying cats. And it turns out that one of the 3 greatest wizards guilds, dark guilds, of the Bottom Lounge, Grimoire Hearts, is on the way to the island to locate Zelf. And Util is part of that guild. So, and that arc introduces 2 of the heaviest hitters, Zelf and Acnologia, for villains. Those are the 2 main antagonists of the series. Because it turns out that Zelf wasn't actually some dead wizard from 400 years ago. He never died because he's cursed to walk alone for the rest of his life and is immortal because of what he did, trying to bring back the dead. So the gods cursed him. And Util Melody are some of my favorite characters. And it introduces Capricorn, which is a celestial spirit that was taken over by Zodio. And Hades, well, he also nearly killed the group. I mean, like, they were fearsome. And yeah, he nearly killed Markov. And he would have killed Fairy Tail if it wasn't for Horologium, Util, and Loxus. Because people love to boast about this hanging on the ship because Power Friendship, when the only fights I can think of Power Friendship are Oza vs. Azuma and Oza vs. Kyoka. People try to say, oh, well, this Team Natsu vs. Hades Power Friendship. I'm like, did you not watch anything else but that one fight? Because they're completely ignoring the fact that Horologium showed up to save Wendy because of his danger sense, but it can only activate every now and then because it takes up a lot of magic. Util restored the tree that Ozma had cut down, restoring them the full power, and restoring the magic energy. And Loxus showed up and gave Natsu his power boost, which was Lightning Flame Dragon mode. Because he can only eat fire, but I guess since when Loxus gifted him the magic, he unlocks his new mode. And thanks to the X-Seeds, who are on another mission trying to figure out how to stop the ship from flying, they end up finding this giant heart and destroying it, taking away Hades' power and his immortality, thus killing him, which didn't use Power Friendship at all. Natsu stood up, gave a speech to boost his morale, and that was practically, it's like they watched that fight, they watched him get his butt kicked, close their eyes, hear him give a speech, open them, and see them kicking butt. Completely ignoring everything else that's going on. peak fiction. And Akno Loki also kills the guild, kills the Tenno team for 7 years. Because he ends up destroying the island, but thanks to the bonds and one of the three great fairy tale spells, which was known from day one, fairy spell, they're able to create this burial in time that basically sealed them in time for 7 years. Now we go into X791. Now this arc is only like, I want to say 2-3 episodes long, or a few chapters long. We're gonna put this in. Oh, I mean, it does bring back the fairy tale guild, and we see how without the Tenno team, like the top wizards are gone. There's only about a dozen wizards left of the fairy tale guild, and it's in ruins. They lost the original guild hall because no one would send them jobs, go and complete any jobs. The bank was gonna take it away. Now they're living in this farm, and the thing about quitting, but thankfully, thanks to Blue Pegasus, they discovered that Tenno Island is not destroyed, and so they go there and find the island restored because the spell has finally ended. So, we'll put in, it's alright. I would have liked it more if he had shown them trying to move on. And people are like, well, I would have moved on after 7 years should have been enough. But I like to say, but they were like family. I mean, what if your loved one, if your brother or sister died, would you be like, it's alright, I'll move on. I'm just gonna get over it right now. No, they were the heart and soul of the guild. So of course they wouldn't move on. They were like family. Even Lucy's estranged father, who had a Phantom Lord to kidnap Lucy to bring her back, and became estranged, she was going to see him, to talk to him, forgive him, but unfortunately, she was a few weeks late, and he had passed. So sad. Next up, the Key of the Star Sky. Now, this is a filler arc. It reintroduces the Irrational Sace, which I thought was good, and it introduced Gutman the Cleaner. And this is filler, so of course, you've never really heard anything about the Church of Zootopia since then, or any of the other characters, except for the characters that were pre-filler. But it introduces some new magic, some new openings and endings, which I liked. And yeah, it introduced magic. It gave more spotlight to characters like Leon the Neo-Astronaut Sace, which is what I was complaining about it Atlas not doing. And a lot of these arcs just focusing on the main team. So we'll put this in. We'll put it in very good. Just because, yeah, this was a waste against time. And Neo-Astronaut Sace nearly destroyed time. And, well, they're just a threat to be reckoned with. Especially Jackpot. I found him hilarious. He used slot magic. Hilarious. And he was a stick. He was an actual talking staff. Except it's the Grand Magic Games. Now, I love tournament arcs. This brought back Miliana and a bunch of new characters like the Sabretooth, Mermaid Hero, Kagura, Minerva, Sting, Rogue, Jenny, Sheria. Well, oh yeah. Did I say Sherry was in this? In this, she's Sheria. It brought, but the one thing I do have about this is that I hate arcs that get, tournaments that get, interrupted. Just have, this arc is basically over the past 7 years, there was this tournament, a Magic tournament that was being held, Best of the Best Wizards, and this one only 8 wizards could, 8 guilds, well 8 teams could enter, because you can enter up to 2 teams. So, they end up doing this giant labyrinth, and Fairy Tail Team A gets in 8th place. Fairy Tail Team B, which consisted of Jalal, Loxus, Gagio, Jufia, and Miljane, got in 2nd place. And it brought in Ivan Drago, the son of Markov, and the father of Roxas, was mentioned to be like this really evil person who stole secrets from Fairy Tail and was exiled. So he went from being a dark guild to somehow being recognized as a legal guild. And it gave one heck of a fight between Roxas managed to take on all, because each wizard team has 5 members allowed, plus 1 for substitute in case anything happens. Roxas manhandled his father and his team, and he was like, Ivan is like, you're not gonna hit your own father, we're family. And Roxas is like, Fairy Tail is my only family now, and then defeats them. And like Natsu versus Morgenstein, now it would be fiction if they didn't like this is the Grand Magic Games, but then Dragon's Dogma interrupted it. See, I would have liked it if it was just, my personal opinion, if it was just fighting, just like a tournament, like without interruptions. Like, I'm gonna be mad if Wreck of Ragnarok is like interrupted. Like that's like that. Imagine if Wreck of Ragnarok, stuff like that. You're doing this fight and then all of a sudden you get like this interruption that stops the tournament. I mean, like, I just want to see them do a fight and do a tournament. You know, brackets and stuff like that, points. So, we'll put this in very good just because I love the fights in this. And again, it brought in more spotlight to like Miliana and Kagura and stuff like that. Characters like that. Next up is Phil, the Eclipse Celestial Spirit Ox. Now, this is, well, basically, when the Spirit Sets closed the Eclipse Gate, thanks to Yukino, who had the lead one, Ophiuchus and the, Pisces, they closed the gate, but then those spirits the Zodiacs went haywire and became evil and different. Now, I liked Eclipse Aries and Volgo's designs, and well, it had some funny moments and brought spotlight to other of the non-Fairy Tail, we'll call them Team Natsu, non-Team Natsu members. Like, one of my personal favorite moments is the freaking card game that Kana plays against Scorpio and Gray's dance battle with, Capricorn. Now, this is, and the Spirit King nearly destroys the Celestial Realm and kills the wizards. So we'll put this in very good. Just because, well, I like the Kana vs. Scorpio battle. And Eclipse and Volgo. Well, Eclipse Aries and Eclipse Volgo. And Eclipse Aquarius. Yeah, she was kind of like a psycho child. She was fun to play, but her playing was not very nice. Next up is the Sun Village arc, which is just a short arc that gives some spotlight to Flair. Basically, one of the 10 Wizard Saints War Sequest, who's actually one of the 4 founding members of Fairy Tail, along with Hades, aka Pract from Grimoire Halt, hires them to go melt this frozen village. Because just basically melt frozen village that was frozen using some special kind of ice magic that can't be melted. And we introduced Minerva and introduced the Tartaros Guild. We'll put this in. It's a short arc. It was like prologue for this. Now we have with us the Tartaros arc. Now this is amazing. Introduced Tartaros, one of the 3 dark guilds of one of the 3 heads of bottom lines, along with the Russian Sace and Grimoire Halt. And it gave Gray basically the 9 demon gates of don't use, which is what the main members are called, don't use magic, they use curses instead. So their plan is to uncover these faces, which are giant like ether absorbing missiles to destroy magic and take over the world. So they end up killing the Magic Council because the Magic Council are linked 3 members with it. Jalal and 2 others who were killed, except for Jalal, who's gone and formed Crime Society with Util Melody of Grimoire Halt. He ends up recruiting. So basically, lots of stuff happens in this arc. It introduces 9 demon gates, which I like Sayla, Silver, and Kyoka. And Silver is actually Gray's dead father, who's not, and each of the 9 demon gates are demons for Book of Zelf, except for him. Because when he was killed by the Delior, the 9 demon gate member Keys, who's the necromancer, wanted to do an experiment with him. Instead of making a puppet, he wanted to make someone autonomous, and basically kind of revive them. So Silver secretly learned devil slaying magic to kill them, and find the Book of END, which is Zel's most powerful demon. And Wendy unlocks her Dragon Force. She learns how to do it on command, because Natsu could only do it when he was like in Etherion or someone else, or like the Flames of Rebuke. Gray is supposed to kill his father, Silver, and in return, Silver thanks Gray for taking him, for cleansing him of his, basically killing him. He gifts his grave with his Demon Slayer magic. So, and it also brought back, and we learned what happened to the dragons that abandoned the 5 Dragon Slayers 7 years ago. And it brought back Agnologia, who ended up losing his arm due to Igneo, but ended up killing Igneo, who was already technically dead. So we're gonna put this in peak fiction just because of all the stuff that happens, all the development we get with all the characters. And Markov ends up breaking the guild apart, and we learn that Mesh, who's a mole for the Magic Council, was actually a mole for Fairy Tail, who had infiltrated the Magic Council to prevent them from shutting it down. But to make sure they didn't out him, he erased his own memories, so only Markov could undo the spell. That way, in case they read his mind or something, they wouldn't know. So next up, Markov disbands the guild to prevent them from taking any blame for it. So for the next year, they split up and go their own ways, and Natsu and Happy go on a year of training. Next, we have the Zero, which focuses on Mavis and the formation of the guild. Now, we'll put this on very good, me, because I like Mavis Zero, and it shows how the guild was formed, and even how it got its name, which is, how do fairies have tails? It is an eternal adventure. I don't know, but it will be an eternal adventure to find out. Something along the lines of that. And we also learned more about Zelf too, because it turns out that he actually trained Mavis, Warwood, Yuri, who is the father of Markov, Precht, aka Hades, to use magic to cleanse Magnolia of the Blue Skull. Next up is the Avatar arc, which is a short arc which is basically just the reformation of the guild. Now, in this arc, Natsu and Happy return after a year to Crocus to defeat the current Grand Magic Game winners. And turns out that since they were traveling for a year, they never got word that the guild split up because they left a day before the guild was announced to be splitting up. So they end up meeting Lucy, who's a journalist now, and the three of them end up, because Lucy has kept up with all the main members of Fairy Tail, so those three end up leaving to go find the guild, but first they stop at Sabretooth's guild and steal Wolf's job request, because if he goes, his exes, the future Wolf from the GMG arc said that his force dies 1 year in the future, so Natsu vows to protect them. So he steals Wolf's request, says he can get the money, Wolf can keep the money but not leave town. So they go to Avatar, which is a cult, black wizard cult that worships Zelf. And they want to try to revive him by massacring an entire town. So, and it turns out Gray had actually joined that guild, but it turns out that he was actually a mole for Urza. And they also, first they find Wendy and Carla, who can now transform into a cat girl using magic. They find them as Melanie Scale. They join, and then they go to a town that is always raining. They find Juvia in a gloomy state, because Gray left 6 months ago without saying anything. Then they go to Avatar. They find Gray. He rejoins the guild, revealing to Avatar that he was never on their side. He was always gonna take them down. Then Urza joins the final fight at the town. And then Lucy sends out letters to all the other members. And everyone rejoins except for Loxus and the Thunder Legion. But they end up rejoining later on, right for the Alvarez takes over. So we'll put this in. See, now I wish that it would have shown with all the other members and what they did. And we'll put this in. It's alright, because, like, don't just, like, if you're buying something, don't just, like, sure, have the main characters, but also give some spotlight to your other characters. I mean, don't just focus on, like, one, the main character, the main characters, like Team Natsu or Natsu and Lucy. I mean, when you got, like, an entire guild, try to focus on all of the members, or at least most of them. Next up, we have officially the final arc in the anime. Now, this arc, I'm gonna be honest with you, kind of a letdown. I mean, sure, I understand, like, Hiro Mashima had a deadline to meet, But still, like, now, Avalanche was supposed to be Kingdom of Fury, like, the entire continent versus the Avalanche continent. But in the end, we just got freaking Fairy Tail versus the entire versus Avalanche. I mean, the only ones that really did anything were Sting, Rogue, Ichiya, Shelia, and like Kagura maybe, but no, like those are the main ones. I think, but Rogue really didn't do anything. It was mainly just like Sting, Shelly, and Ichiya. But yeah, like, and plus it did introduce Eileen and Brandish. But other than that, yes, why do that? The Spring and 12 were cool, but I didn't want the Acnologia and Zero fights to drag on for too long, but they kind of just ended rather quickly. But yeah. And like Irene Bosiron even said that during one of the matches she was watching, like I believe it was Sabretooth and I wanna say Lamia Scale were fighting. She said that she doesn't feel those gills. The only one the third party is the one she's worried about, which cuts to the Crime Social, who I was hoping would do something epic. But then she just activates Universe 1, reshapes the island, sends everyone every which way. And then later, August defeats Crime Social like it was not family. Like, Irene is like one of the most powerful wizards. She's like the female version of August, basically. They're all on the same level. So, yeah, I mean, it was kind of like, it was alright. I mean, sure, it was solid defeat of Zelf and Acnologia, but it was just kind of a total letdown. I mean, I really wanted to see more than just, more of the other guilds fighting. Not just Team Natsu. I mean, not like Team Natsu, but Fairy Tail. Like, I mean, introduce more of that. But yeah. Other than that, I mean, it was just, yeah, it's alright. It was just fun because it was like longer than Zero. It was like 50 episodes or something. It was longer than like that. It was longer than like that. I think this was like the only one that was like matched the length. But yeah. I think that's going to be it for now. Oh, but I do like to mention that Avatar, that Lucy got Celestial Spirit dress, which I like. My favorite is Ellie's. I like that design the best. So let me know what you think of this tier list. And comment if you have any ideas. Because I already have ideas for the waifu tier list, which sound like 110 waifus, I think. Well, you'll just see when I do it. And the Plants vs. Zombies and Plants vs. Zombies. I'm going to do one for plants and one for zombies. So comment down if you have any ideas, what you think. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Ring that bell while you're at it, and I hope you enjoyed. And I look forward to doing more tier lists like this in the future. So, see ya! I am Zero for a lifetime. I am history's greatest loser. They say you fight in your golden age, but I fought in my silver. I may be old, but I can still throw down. Every loss was an opportunity to grow. Every loss just made me stronger. I am the very definition of a personal home theater. In a matter of minutes, I can fight the op and die 72 times, all without moving a finger. If my blades break, they reform. My blades are my soul. I am history's greatest loser. I am history's greatest swordsman. Even though I am 0 for a lifetime, I surrendered for practice. Every loss was an opportunity to grow. Never give up. I am history's greatest loser. You think you can defeat me? I dare you to try. Reach for the stars. My tidal wave of experience will wash over the gods. My blades are my soul. They may break, but they reform. They never give up, so neither should I. Reach for the stars. I am history's greatest loser. Every loss is an opportunity to grow, an opportunity to be better than what I was before. I am the very definition of a personal home theater. In a matter of minutes, I can fight the op and die 72 times. I scan and play, then I live, die, repeat. Rinse, wash, repeat. 1,000 battles, 1,000 deaths. Each loss was an opportunity to grow. I am history's greatest loser. I live, die, and repeat. Each battle was a lesson. I lost and learned something new. Every loss was an opportunity to grow. I never turn down a fight. I scan and play. I am history's greatest loser.